So fixed income is has always been in Malaysia a market dominated by institutional players. Now, why do people, why do corporations, why does the government issue bonds? The government issue, these people issue bonds because they want to raise capital. So it's the same reason like IPO on the share market. They also want to raise funds for capital expenditure or expansion. So for a corporation or the government, in fact, the government also is almost the biggest issuer of bonds. I'm sure you're all quite aware of all the news about Malaysia borrowing a lot through the bond market. And the choices available are either to take a loan from the banking system, these are for companies, they can go for listing or IPO, and they can also go to the bond market. Of course, the government only has the bond market, it can't go for listing or take loans from the banks. So the bond market plays a very, very big function for raising capital for the government and also corporations. Whereas shares are ownership, so if you buy a share, you have ownership in the company. On the other hand, bond is actually a debt. It is a loan. So you are lending money to the company. So it's a debtor-creditor relationship, not a shareholder relationship. So what are the things that, when we look at a bond, there are a number of various, we call it characteristics of a bond. These are the key things which every bond is identified by these things. Now, like a share, for example, is defined by the Companies Act, ordinary share, 1 ringgit, face value, and so on, so on, so on. Bonds, on the other hand, are very customized instrument according to how they want to borrow money. But there are some general characteristics. So you can see here, the definition of a bond is obligation. So it is a debt against for future amounts on specified future dates. Certain bonds may be secured, that means they are attached to a form of collateral. For example, a bond may be secured against property. In the case of the Dana Infra bond issued recently, it is secured by the government. So if Dana Infra goes bust, the government of Malaysia will guarantee the bond. Now, face value is obviously upfront, and in the Bursa exchange traded market, the minimum is 1,000 ringgit. 1,000 ringgit, that's different from shares. Shares, you talk about one lot of shares. In bonds, one lot of shares is 1,000 shares. And depends on the share price. Whereas in bonds, we're talking about the actual face value. So we don't have the concept of one share as opposed to one bond. Now, that is the face value. The price of the bond can go up and down depending on market conditions. So just like a share price, the price of the bond can move. How and why it moves, we will come to that later. The other thing very important in a bond is a coupon. A coupon is actually the interest rate which they will pay you. Because it is a loan, they will pay you interest for you lending them money. This is different from an ordinary share. Dividend is not fixed. In a way, it's similar to a preference share. A preference share, yes, there is a stated dividend. So a bond can be considered close to a preference share, except that it is a loan, whereas a preference share is ownership. And yield. yield is a very, very important concept when it comes to bonds. For example, in shares, you would look at things like PE ratio to decide whether share is worth buying. In bond, the equivalent is yield. We have to look at yield when we decide to buy a bond or not. Coupon is coupon, but yield is what is actually fundamental to deciding on buying or selling a bond. And there's a couple of things which are specialized to Sukuk, which are bonds, instruments issued under Sharia compliant principles. And really in Malaysia is actually the biggest Sukuk market in the world, and we are the 4th largest bond market in Asia. So our bond market is actually quite huge relative to GDP, and it's quite well established in the sense that the definitions and the market practice, trade, the legal framework and stuff like that, all of that is very well established in Malaysia. In fact, we have a lot of foreign companies issuing bonds in Malaysian ringgit. Now, so Sukuk issued under Sharia principles. Of course, when it comes to religion, there are many different interpretations of how it should be. So there is certain points of view in Malaysia compared to the Middle East and so on. So one of the important things when it comes to Sukuk is harmonization. But if we talk about the Dana Infra Sukuk issued recently, it is issued to the Malaysian standards of Sharia rulings. So that's completely fine in this market. Now,
at my website, you'll find online financial seminars, which is I call webinars. I do it regularly, and also a lot of online investment and financial courses, which is conducted solely online. So I'll be waiting for you at my website at KCLau.com. I wish you have a great day. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye.